Hello. Greetings. Going to take this in a different room and take off my jacket. First, I need to pause the video. Hello, my audience. Excuse me. I was just drinking some soda before I got back to you guys. Okay, I'm reviewing the Dark Knight Trilogy that Christopher Nolan directed. Done by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale, wannabe Batman. Excuse me. I take him that seriously as a burp in the wind. His performance is flat and dull, but that does not kill the mood of this over-the-top performance as Batman compared to his flat dull performance as Bruce Wayne, right? When he's Bruce Wayne persona. His Batman's persona is absolutely over-the-top, laughable with the voice. And so is Heath Ledger's silly voice, hammering it up, along with Tom Hardy. Voice is pretty silly, over the top, as silly as Heath Ledger's in Batman, and that fits the tone. In many ways, this movie feels like a grounded, live-action portrayal of the 1966 Adam West genre take on Batman. How Batman's an incompetent crime fighter buffoon, but horny as hell was a sucker for the ladies, is the Batman we get in real life, world building style that no one wants to go for. But the logic is straight out of comic book logic. Jumps the shark when it brings in Scarecrow, and when it brings in so many other theatricalities to Batman within, as even in Batman Begins to Batman The Dark Knight Rises, third one, and it just, even the middle one builds on it, the theatricality from the first one was going for absurdity, and we lean more towards it in the third one, which is why I think the third one's the best Batman movie. It's the funniest. I like Sean Connery's voice as Bane. I like how he sounds like a pregnant Sean Connery in labor. Hard physical labor. When he shows it's gonna C-section to remove the baby. Is what Sean Connery sounds like when he's playing Bane. I mean, Tom Hardy, holy shit. That's what Tom Hardy sounds like, is Bane. A pregnant and labored Sean Connery when his water just broke and ready to cut the baby. The baby needs to be cut, but it can't still, because the water broke. It's just, you know, it's like Bane wins, like, you know, he sounds like a pregnant Sean Connery when the baby's coming. On that day, labor. Oh my god, I just got a good idea. Now, Hollywood, take this from me. If you ever want to remake Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie called Junior, I know like a perfect role for that. Tom Hardy plays plays the pregnant guy, professor that becomes pregnant, experiments on himself and gets pregnant. Think about it. He would be perfect for the role. This role of Bane has convinced me he's perfectly okay with making himself look like a buffoon and not taking himself serious. I love how he delivers the line, "That's a lovely voice," when he's listening to the child sing Amazing Grace. He just sounds like this. This is my best impersonation you're gonna get from me. That's a really lovely voice. He sounds so fucking happy. He just sounds funny. He sounds funny coming out of Bane's Tom Hardy, played by Tom Hardy's Bane voice. That's just funny. Well, you know what's also funny? When Tom Hardy just let Batman in the cave, and the prison guards that were guarding, taking care of Batman, nurturing him back to health, fix his back. That Tom Hardy fucked it up. Bang, this kind of funny. It's funny. One was also funny how he fucked the girl that was the girl's that he let his guard down about, and show where the reactor is, who ended up being the main villain behind the curtains instead of Tom Hardy's Bane. Turns out he was just a henchman in the Batman movie. That's straight out of the most influential Batman movie. In this movie, like one of the more influential Batman movies of all time, that's old school, called Batman and Robin. That's a plot point straight out of Ball from Batman and Robin, 1997 flick, where Bane was a henchman for a woman, pulling the strings. That was Poison Ivy. This time it's Talia al Ghul, who also has the hots for Bruce Wayne, known who Batman is, because she slept with him. She could do that accomplishment that Uma Thurman could not do. Get in Batman's pants. The ladies dig Batman. And Batman is a ladies man. He's like 007, the horniest version of Sean Connery, Bond from Never Say Never Again. And yes, I did like that movie. Classic cinema. Like, these movies are classic cinema. How do they hold up as stories? Who the fuck cares? The story's just window dressing nonsense. Second base nature does not matter sometimes. What the fuck was I going to say? Window dressing is what it is. These stories are window dressing compared to the top-notch, boom, loud explosion actions. Because the window dressing stories are the most funniest part about the movie. All three of them. The Nolan trilogy. Okay, I'll just tell you how funny they are, okay? Wanna know how much they're funny? Okay, so you know X-Men Last Stand? You know how everyone you know how X-Men Last Stand did everything wrong going forward with the third installment? By killing off Cyclops and killing off the most important character of all? is when they really shoot the movie in the foot. Well, that was Charles Xavier, the most important X-Men ever, the heart and soul of the team, pretty much, who funds the school and everyone. Fund the school and the X-Men, and made them the costumes and the comics and stuff. So he's arguably the most important X-Men. Once you kill him off, him and the leader, well, Scott, you're kind of running yourself in the corner with no choice but to disband the X-Men and have the school get shut down, and that's what happens in Last Stand. Well, when except for the few handful that stayed behind, decide to put together the X-Men on one more mission, Final Stand, the Last Stand. So to speak, so in the movie, X-Men Last Stand, it wasn't really a bad X-Men movie. It was just a bad wrap-up to the first two X-Men movies. In hindsight. Is what I think of X-Men Last Stand. That's why I give X-Men a 10 out of 10. X-Men Last Stand. Excuse me. However, if you do pay attention, in which, if you're one of the few people like me, suckers, who actually watch till the end, watch the whole scene of till the end credits, to see if there was any clip, to see if there was any same clip or anything. I just had a hunch that there might be, I just didn't know. I have a feeling because, like, you know, I didn't expect Magneto to get his powers back at the end. To show them able to move the little chest piece was his hand, made out of magnet. You see him move it with his hand, and then you pay attention after that. You see Charles' voice wakes up from some coma, and the nurse reacts to Charles. You know, we're not shown Patrick Stewart's Charles, we hear his voice. And that sets up to that gets paid up in the movie called The Wolverine, where it's all a solo Wolverine movie, but it also gives, while giving closure on X-Men 3, The Last Stand. See, when you look really at like so, okay, let me explain this to you, okay? You know how I always realize something. I notice how like X-Men 3 acts as a part 1 to the Wolverine, which is a part 2 story of the Phoenix Saga after Jean Grey got killed off, and Logan has a guilty conscience. He's talking to Jean from a ghost from Jean, because guilty conscience, I guess, and he's talking to this ghost that aren't there, and that would be Jean the whole time in the movie when it happens. Sometimes in the movie here and there, and the Wolverine movie is a really good solo movie, while also tying up loose ends with. And also building up and foreshadowing, X-Men Days of Future Past, and building on and tying up loose ends of X-Men The Last Stand movie, part 3 of X-Men story, which was also part 1 of this X-Men trilogy. When you think about it, this Wolverine trilogy ended in, Days of Future Past. Because after the Wolverine movie ends, and you think everything's all wrapped up, you see Wolverine at the airport, and he meets up with Magneto, and Charles resurrected from the same Charles that died in the events of, well, Last Stand, that got resurrected in a post-credit scene off camera. We heard his voice, woke up from a coma or something in a hospital. When a nurse reacted to him, his voice said Charles, and that you would have seen if you watched the whole movie of Last Stand, like including the end credits. But a lot of people didn't. A lot of people missed that part. Walked out after the movie was over. That's why I give X-Men Last Stand and the Wolverine a 10 out of 10. And I just realized I finished talking about the Nolan Trilogy. I give the Nolan Trilogy a 10 out of 10, right? I meant to. Batman Dark Knight Trilogy. Before I go any further, I just want to say the Dark Knight Trilogy gets a 10 out of 10 in my book, all 3 installments. As great, guilty, popcorn pleasures films. They are loud, explosive films that don't take themselves too seriously. Putting the realistic putting the campy Batman that Adam West was and Joel Schumacher brought back. Well, they take the fantasy world out of it and bring it into the real world, but keep the comic book logic of campy Batman. Yes, I love the comp. But I think I like Ben Affleck's more because I miss serious Batman more so much. And Pattinson's Batman better because I miss serious Batman more. Same reason why I like, what's his name? Before Val Kilmer played Batman. Michael Keaton. I like him more because Batman's more serious. I like serious Batman more than campy Batman, but even when he's playing for real world building. Well, I give the trilogy a 10 out of 10 of Batman. And I give the Wolverine 10 out of 10. X-Men Last Stand 10 out of 10. That's my review. Goodbye. Subscribe. Like this video, my audience. Till next time.